This conference will now be recorded.
Can I just give a glimpse of what has been taking just a 5 minutes?
So we are talking about method today. Okay, method is nothing but
Okay.
function. How to create a method? So I told you to write public, then static, then void, then any method name. So I've created a method login, logout, and you know we have a main method, right? Always. So when
Correct.
you execute this program, you can see the program executes only this is main. So only this part, main method. So whatever sequence you write, there is no sequence of writing the method. You can write it in any sequence. Okay. So what is happening? There is a rule in the Java compiler. Whenever you run any class, it will always come and search for the main method, and it will execute the main method. That's why if main method is not there, if I don't write it and run my program, it will show you main method not found and all these errors. Every program, whatever you are trying to run, should have main method. Yeah. Clear? Now,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I want to execute this logout or login or any method, I have to call this method inside the main, because my compiler executes inside this line, whatever is there inside this bracket, inside main. So how to call login? This is the way we call some method.
Method and function both are same, or they are different, light differences there?
No, same. Method means function only. In Java, you know, technically, we use the keyword called method. We don't call function.
Okay.
It's exactly same. Same thing, only two different names. So now if I run, which line it is going to execute? Line number 14 and 15, because I told whenever you click on the run button, it is going to execute this line. So line number 14 is, it will print this is main. Line number 15 is I am calling login method. So it will go to the login method and it will print this line, whatever you are writing.
Okay.
Okay. So if I run it, you can see it's printing.
Okay.
You can call a particular method any number of times. There is no limitation. If I call run, see. Okay. So whatever you are writing outside the main, it doesn't make any sense, you know, until if you don't call it inside the main method. You can call this, yeah, any number of times. And as I told you, there is no sequence. You can write it anywhere. Method aage piche, you know, at the beginning, at the top, anywhere. There is no sequence, right? First you have to write this, then this. There is no sequence of writing the method. Output will be the same. If I call the logout, say after calling 2 times login, I am calling logout. Yes, otherwise it will not execute, right? See, I am calling here twice and I am calling again at the end. Whenever I call, it will just execute like this. 2 times login, then logout, then again login, 3 times, then again logout, 2 times, login, again last logout. No. By default, it will execute the main method, only main method. Okay. So this is what is method. Clear? So to create a method, you have to write public, then use the word static. I'll talk about it. You can write private and all these things also, don't worry. Void also I'll talk about it. Write the method name, use this bracket, then this is the body of a method you have to declare. In the curly bracket, you can declare the body. If I write 2 lines, I mean, you can write any number of lines. And here I am just writing. I'm just printing dash inside logout. If I run, so see, whenever I am calling, it's running actually these 2 lines. Okay, there can be 100 lines also inside a method. So this is what is. Hmm? Hmm. You can do anything inside method. Yeah, tell me. Yes, Risha, tell me.
Yeah. If we have 200 logins and logouts, do we have to call to 2000 times login and logout?
Yeah, you have to call it. Otherwise, how you are going to execute?
Oh, okay.
Instead of
Any?
running 2000 times, you will call it, right?
Okay.
That is better, right? Instead of writing the
Hmm.
same code again and again, there will be 5-6 lines of code for login, logout. Whenever you need, you will just call it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But when you use TestNG, I'll show you different way. You don't need to call so many number of times and all. So those things
Oh,
we'll see.
okay. Okay.
Hmm? Now, what I am going to do here, I am declaring some variable. The integer x equal to 10. I can declare, right, any variable, integer value. Here also I can declare anything. The integer y equal to 20. Correct. Now, for example, here I am overriding the value x equal to 1. Can you see I am getting error message? What is the error? X cannot be resolved to a variable, means it's not able to find what is x. Same way here if I write y equal to 3, I am getting an error message. Y cannot be resolved as a variable, means it's not able to find y. Same way if I use x and y here also, okay, x equal to 3, y equal to maybe 2, I am getting an error message. He is not able to find x and y. Why? Because whenever you declare any variable inside the method, that is called local variable. So this local variable, the life of the local variable is exist only within that method. Outside you cannot access the local variable outside this method. So we declared integer y inside logout method, right? So y can be accessible, only within this method. Like say I can use y here. I cannot access x because x is I have declared inside main method. Main is also a method, right? So x is a local variable of main method. You can use it inside main. You can use it inside main, but you can't use it outside main because this is a local variable. Same y you can use it inside logout. Say I can print the value of y, or I can write y plus 10 something whatever I want. But outside this logout I cannot use. Okay, that's why I'm getting an error here. I am getting an error here. So these are called local variables. Local variables are the variables whatever you can declare only within the method. Okay, and whatever you are declaring inside a method and you cannot access it outside. So life of the local variable exists only within that method. Outside you can't use it. Okay, clear? So this is what is local variable. Now there might be some variable we might need to access across the method, right? So what I'm saying, these are called local variable. Okay. You can declare you can access only within, you can use within that method. Like why I declared in logout method. So I can declare only within logout. X I have declared inside main. I can use X only within this. Okay, now what is happening when it executes main method first? So it will execute this line, it will execute this line, it will execute this line. Then it will call the login method. So what it will happen? No, it will not, right? We are getting error now. It says now y cannot be resolved as a variable. It is not able to find what is y. It's saying you have to declare it. So when we write the login, basically it executes the login method, nothing else it's doing. It is not able to access any variable, anything. So basically writing this 2 line again and again here, you are saying you are calling this method, it will execute this 2 line or 3 line. Okay, these are called local variable. So any variable you declare inside any method, you can't access it outside that method. Clear? Now, some variable you might need to access across all the method. Sometimes it might require, like, so those are called global variable. Okay, so how to declare global variable? In the top, outside all the method, you cannot declare inside any method. So you have to write outside all the method, but everything you should write inside the class. You should not write anything outside the class. Okay, outside the class you should not. Here you can write, say, integer a equal to something, or you can declare only integer a, later you can assign the value. Okay, this is called global variable. Or you can write static integer b. So these are called global variable. Okay, so global variable are of two types. This is called, okay, whenever you are using the keyword static, that is called static variable. Okay, static, so I am declaring global variable, correct? If you don't use the keyword static, that is called non-static or instance global variable. Got it? So global variable are of two types. One is called non-static or instance global variable, and one is called static global variable. So there are variable are of two types. One is local variable, one is global variable. Global variable, there are two types of global variable. One is static global variable and one is non-static global variable. Okay, now what is the difference between static, non-static, that I can tell you today. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense. When I will talk about object, then I have to explain it. So, okay, now here if I access, one more thing I wanted to tell you, you cannot access directly the non-static, but static you can access directly. So how to access non-static, I will talk about it later. So see, b I have declared static. I can write here b equal to 3. Can you say I can use it b? There is no error because it's a global variable. I can write here b equal to 6. Can you see? I can access any higher b. Yeah.
Can we keep assigning different values?
Yes, we can assign. No issues.
Okay. So, but that
Basically,
value is specific only for that particular method. That's it, right?
yes, that particular method, that value will be, specific to that particular method. For example, you have declared login, logout and something. So you need to use some, say, username or password value, okay, in different places. So you can declare it as a global variable so that you can access those values. Or I can directly assign the value also here. If I want, I can use b later. Okay. So basically these are called global variables. One is non-static or instance global variable. One is called static global variable. So non-static variable you can't access directly. I have to tell you the concept of object and all. I'll show you later. Then it will be clear what is static, what is non-static. So as of now, I just wanted to show you variables, local and global variable. Local variable, it will not be exist. There is no visibility outside that method. Global variable, you can access it across the class in any method. Clear? Okay, this is local and global variable, and this is what is method. Clear, guys, till now? Any question?
No.
Here, now let's see some realistic example of method. Okay, so let me create one method. For example, I want to perform some operation 10 plus 20. Okay, what I'll do, I can create a method. I can directly do it here, but think about it, I need to use it multiple times. So what I'll write, public static void, say add. Here I'll write 10 plus 20. If I need to access it, I can call add method. Inside main, right? I told you your execution will start here and it will execute the main method. So if I run, you can see it's printing 30. Okay, I can call this method any number of times, as I told you earlier. So every time it's calling add method and it's executing 10 plus 20. So I'm getting 30 every time. So this is clear, right? That's what we did till now. Now, can I create one more method with the same name? Question is that.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, but return type is different.
Yes, not return type, input argument. So what I'm saying is, in that case, we can't use the two method with the same name, because when I call add, it's getting confused. Should I call this one or should I call this one? Maybe here 100 plus 20, right? So two method with the same name is not allowed ideally, but you can create when you pass different input parameters inside a method, or we are calling input arguments. Okay, what is input parameters? Like when I can say, when you call this method, you pass some parameter, one integer called a. See, now there is no error message. Okay, so here maybe I can write anything 100 plus a or a plus a. Now can you see there is no error message? So when it will be called, whenever you call this method, you have to exactly match whatever the input argument you are passing. So what I am passing, integer a.
Is this called
Yeah.
method overloading?
Yeah, I am coming to that. This is called method overloading. You are correct. Okay. So what I am trying to do, I am sending some input parameter a. So if I need to call this method, you have to exactly match the input argument. What I am passing integer. So here if I write 10, now this case it will call this one. First case it will call this one. Third case, first one. I am calling the add method. What is the input argument? Nothing, null, no input argument. So it will check which method is add without any input argument. This one. So it will call this one, even third case also. So if I run only second case, it will call the second one. You can see 20, a plus. Okay. You can write, 1000. If I call 2000. If I don't declare this method, say I'm getting an error message. Basically, he is saying I cannot find any method A without any input argument. There is only one method called add where you need to pass some input parameter. But you are calling add without passing input parameter. Sorry boss, I am not able to find it. Okay, that's why you are getting error message. If you put your cursor here, it's saying the method add int of type method is not applicable to argument 0. Means you are not passing any argument, but the method is there which you need to pass an integer. He is saying. So he's telling some possible solution. You add an argument in this method, or change the method or remove it, or create a new method called add. Right. So if I say here pass 20, see I am not getting any error in these two cases, but first case and third case I am getting. No, that we cannot do. That we cannot do. Only the value you can pass. You cannot declare any variable inside it. Int means any integer value you have to pass. Okay. So if I write again a, see there will be no error. Got it? If I remove this, you will get an error message in line number 7 and 8, because you will not find any method without with input argument as integer. Got it? Now let me pass a string. I am getting error message. Why? Because this is here there is no method which accepts a string with the name add. There is only two method add. One is without input argument, one is integer a, right? But here I am passing string, correct? So if I put my cursor here, it's saying the method int, add integer after method 2 is not applicable for the argument string. He's saying you are passing string, but it is not applicable for integer. You have to pass integer. Or he's saying change the method this, or create a new method add string.
I have a doubt actually here. Hello.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, basically when we are passing 1000, we are assigning a int. Basically, I am passing int a equal to 1000. Yeah, now ask me.
So this is like see public static void add, and the other one is public static void add int a. So if can there be like public static void add, and can be there be public static int add?
See, that is different. That I will come. First, try to understand this one. You are talking
Okay.
about void, not void. Okay, I am talking about now all the void thing.
Okay.
Now, here I am getting an error message where I am passing a string. So that is the reason this error is. So what I can do, if I want, I can create one more method. There is no sequence. You can write string a, b, c, x, y, z, whatever. Now see, I am not getting any error message. So not only the input argument, but the data type of that input argument also should match. So I am passing a. So which one it will call? It will call this one, right? When we declare double quote, when we declare the data type, yeah, we never declare, right? String a, integer x, boolean b, right? So if I run, this a will come into this a plus 20, a 20. Got it? I am calling this add method. I am passing 6, 8. So I am getting error. Why I am passing integer only?
Only one integer.
Yes.
You're
This
passing
method is
two
accepting.
arguments here.
Yes, only one integer. But here I am passing 2 arguments. These are called input arguments. You have to mention one more. Exactly. You can write it anywhere. Int a. See, 2 method I cannot create with the same input argument and all, right? So I am getting error. Comma integer b. Now there is no issues. A plus b. It will call this one then. You will get an error. I just now showed you. See, if I removed it, can you say I'm getting error here? Because he is saying I'm not finding whatever. If it is not there, you will get an error. It's just calling the add method without any input argument, and he is not finding anything. Okay, so he is giving you error message. So it should exactly match. Now see, I am not getting error. A and B, I am passing 6 and 8. So it is doing 6 plus 8. 14. So this makes more realistic things, right? I mean, you want to add any number, I will tell you, okay, you just call this method and you pass the parameter. 6 plus 8, 10 plus 3, 13, 14, it's giving me the output. You can pass anything. Got it? Now I am calling one more method, add. Okay. Maybe I am passing something. Java, comma, 10. So I'm getting error message. Why? Because I'm passing string integer. There is no method which accepts string integer. So I need to create a method, or I can modify my parameter, right? These are called input parameter or input argument. So if I write string, I'm not getting any error message. So if I run, it's printing Java 10. I am calling this method 20 comma or maybe okay, anything 3 comma say selenium. Now also I am getting error, though I am passing integer and string. The reason is not only the input argument but the sequence also matters. You have to pass it exactly in the same sequence. Here it is string integer, but I am passing integer string. So always first parameter will come into the first one, second parameter will come into the second one. So you have to maintain that. You have to write this integer and this string. Then it will call the same method twice. Like you want to do like this, right? Selenium comma 3 instead of calling like this. So what I'm passing string integer. Here what I'm passing string integer. So which one is string integer? String integer. So it will call this method twice. Okay. So first time Java will come into A, 10 will come into B. When I call it again, Selenium will come into A, 3 will come into B. But when I write like this, you will get an error because 3 cannot come into A. Sorry, 3 cannot come into A because A is a string. So I have to create one more method which accepts string integer. So not the input argument, but the sequence of input argument also matters. The way you are passing. Okay. Now same method is doing multiple work, right? Same method. When you pass two integer, it's adding two integer. When you pass, string, it's adding string. When you pass one integer, it's adding integer in plus that integer twice. When you pass string integer, it's adding string integer. When you pass integer string, it's adding integer string, right? Same method is doing multiple tasks. So if you are doing multiple tasks, what you can say? You can say, right, you are overloaded with your work, right? You are doing a lot of work. Same add method, he is doing multiple tasks, right? Sometimes he is adding with integer. Sometimes he is adding with string with integer. Sometimes he is adding with integer with string. That is same method. We are passing different input argument, right? You are working as you are writing your test cases. Then you are automating. Your person is same. Work is different. Different input arguments. No, it's don't we call it. You listen first. So when you are doing multiple work, right? Same person. So does that mean you are a different person? Then you are calling differently. Different time you are performing different operation. Operations you are calling differently. So you are doing lot of multiple works. You can say you are overloaded with your work. Same way also here, the same add method is doing lot of work. So this concept is known as method overloading. Okay, you can just make a note, method overloading. Okay, that is an important interview question. What is method overloading and method overriding? Okay, what is method overloading and method overriding? So method overriding, I'll talk about it later when we'll talk about inheritance concept. Without inheritance, I can't override. But this is called overloading. What is overloading? When you create a same method multiple times by passing multiple different input arguments. And that is known as method overloading. Same method if you write multiple times. Now you can't write same method multiple times with same input argument, right? You have to pass a different input argument. Sometimes maybe no argument, sometimes maybe integer, sometimes maybe integer, sometimes maybe string integer, sometimes maybe integer string, right? Same method you are rewriting again and again. So same method is doing multiple work. So that is called method overriding. Clear everyone?
Yeah.
Any question from anyone? Can ask me now. Maruti, are you able to follow? Hello Maruti, are you able to follow the concepts? I'm not able to hear you. So others are clear, right? Method overloading. So remember, not only the input argument, but the sequence of input argument also matters. You have to pass it exactly in the same sequence, right? If you have string integer, you cannot pass integer string. It should be string integer only. Proper sequence. So this is known as method overloading. You can overload a method like this. Yeah.
We can pass any data type, right?
Any data type you can pass. That is the next thing I was about to tell you to try.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now I want you to create some method by passing different input arguments. Okay, so I'm just writing here. You can give any name, method name, or addition or summation or something, and you pass like this: integer string. Any name. There is no main is only inbuilt method, so you should not give the name main. Apart from that, you can give any name, but you have to follow this sequence. You have to give this bracket and this curly bracket. So can you create a method integer string or integer 3 integer? Can you create later? Can you create integer string integer? Can you create integer string integer? See, as long as the sequence is different, I can create. There is no issues. String integer. We can create, right? No issues. Method name is Z, so I am doing adding. I am just you can give the method name XYZ also. Any name you can write your name only. Any method, and you can inside you can do some operation. Okay, there is nothing, anything like this. Okay, so this is what is method overloading, right? If you create one method, just create a method called say sum with these input arguments one by one. Inside that, if you want to you print or you add or whatever you want, you can do. Okay, or you can create for other data type also: boolean, character, string, string, character, boolean, string, character. As long as the input arguments are different, you can create any number of methods. If you use boolean character, you cannot add it directly, but just create a different method, pass different input argument sequence. Maybe inside that you can print all these values, whatever I am passing, integer, string, boolean, and all. Okay, so can you guys try it out, this thing? Try it out. In case of any issues, let me know. Okay, clear everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, clear, Abhishek.
Now method 3, I am creating one more class. Now you know why I am selecting it. Here I want you to okay, let me simply just print say some function sum. Okay, I want to add the numbers. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll call this sum method and I'll call the parameter 10 comma say 7. So here I have to pass it, right? Integer a comma integer b. Now I want you to create a function. I told you, hey, can you please create a function where we can add some number? So you created a function. Now I pass two input argument 10, 7. Okay, so it will add 10, 7. Inside that you wrote, A plus B. Fine. Now some user can pass three input argument also. 10, 7, 3. Someone can pass four integer 3, 7, 9, 8. So how many sum method you need to create? 1, 2 input argument, 3 input argument, 4, 5, 6. There is no limitation. Like, so you have to create lot of methods. Okay, this is little bit in details concept. I am just wanted to tell you. I mean, they might not ask you in the interview. They might not be aware also, but sometimes. So how can I handle this scenario? This is like corner cases I am trying to explain. Basically, you got it, right? I don't know the number of input arguments. How can I handle it in these cases? If you don't know, sis, okay, you have created. I'll tell no, my requirement is different. I need to pass three input argument, maybe 1, 4, 7. Someone will come and say, no, I need 4 input argument, 10, 8, 1, 7. So how many methods? Someone will say, I need to add 5 input argument. How we are going to handle this? You got it, the scenario. This is the corner cases I am trying to explain. Okay, so this is called, this concept. Okay, to handle it, I can write only integer. Okay, and here I can write 3 dot. Can you see there is no error now? Sorry, what I did. Okay, can you see there is no error now? So when I write 3 dot, what is happening? It's creating a list of array. Oh, it's creating a list of A. It's creating a list, and the list name is A, and it is entering all the values one by one inside that list. What is list? I'll talk about it in collections class. Okay, so as of now, just remember it's creating a list. Okay, basically, every time you call this method like this with a triple dot, it's creating a list. Okay, and it's entered those values. So when you call 10, 7, it's creating a list with two parameter 10 and 7. When you call 10, 8, 1, 7, 4 input argument, it's create a list where it entered 4 input argument 10, 8, 1, 7. If you call it a 10 input argument, it will call. So I am not getting any error message. That is any number and numbers you can add it list. Okay, so this concept is known as variable argument. Remember this keyword. Okay, variable argument. What is variable argument? Variable argument is nothing but you can number of arguments are variable, it's not constant. Okay, any number of input argument you can pass. Got it? Now you might ask then, Abhishek, how can I add? Right? So I'm not telling you because I have to explain this. Okay, that for loop, how to execute the for loop inside a list. I just wanted to tell you along with the method. So for your understanding, I am just writing as of now integer s. So for integer x colon a. Okay, so here in the system.out.println, maybe I am printing s. So I'll explain you this program later, this for loop later. You have not seen this for loop, right? You always saw I equal to 0, I less than equal to something, I plus plus, I minus minus. This I'll explain you later. That's why I was not showing. So here just I'm writing. So to show you, it will add. See, 10 plus 7, 17. 7 plus 1 plus 4, 12. 10 plus 8, 18, 18 plus 1 is 19, 19 plus 7 is 26. Okay, 10 plus 7, 17, 18, 19, 20 plus 3, 23. Can you see it's adding correctly? So don't worry about this for loop. I'll explain it later in the collections class, how to, create this kind of for loop also with the help of list and all. Okay, but concept is clear. What is variable argument? Means I don't know how many numbers, how many integers I need to pass. How you are going to handle this scenario? So you can use something called variable argument, and this is the way you can do. Triple dot A means you are saying A will store any number of input argument, whatever comes into it. Okay, clear everyone? Santosh, Ramya, Maruti, Akila, and others.
Yeah, it's variable argument.
Okay, so we discussed about method, we discussed about method overloading. Okay, we discussed about variable arguments. In method overloading, we discussed you can overload a method any number of times as long as you pass different input argument. Also, I talked not only the number of input argument, but the sequence also matters, right? In the same sequence, you have to pass. Okay, so remember all these things. This will be important in the point of interview questions. Go ahead with the concept. In the day one also, I told you. Now also I'm telling. Okay, don't run, behind some interview questions. Okay, people, before the interview, they, go through 10, 5, 10 different web pages and they check some interview questions and all. Instead of that, try to understand the concept. Make sure your concepts are clear. Then you don't need to run here and there. So whatever they ask, you can answer. Okay, they might write some program. They might, tell you what will be the output. Or sometimes if the program is wrong, you have to tell this is wrong. Okay, if you see some wrong concepts and all. Like I am creating some method integer string. I am calling this method string integer. I will not tell you directly. You have to tell no, this cannot be done. Okay, so this is what is method overloading. Now, next thing is void. What is this? Let me create method 4. Now, I am writing public static. As of now, everything I am using static. I'll talk about it static. So we wrote void, right? Say some method I am writing now, multiplication, just for an example. Okay, I am passing to input arguments, maybe integer a, comma, integer b. You can write anything. Okay, don't think that it will be always a, b. You can write anything, x, y, z, or whatever. What I'm trying to say, integer m equal to x into y. Okay, here how can I call? I can call multiplication 2 comma 7, correct? And here maybe I am printing m. Okay, so if I run it, it's printing 14, right? Now what I want whatever the output is, I want to use it in my main function, right? Sometimes it might require whatever the output is giving, maybe I want to add 100 along with it. Along with this, I want to add 100. Like whatever the output it is giving, 14. Okay, I want to add 100 along with it. Okay, anything I want to do. So I need this output here, right? So what I can write? Integer, maybe p equal to something. I can write p plus 100, correct?
Yeah.
But see, the problem is what is happening here now. What it is saying? Type mismatch, cannot convert from void to int. Means he's saying this method is void, I cannot convert into an int. Means what? Void means null. So here before the method name, we write what that method is going to return to me. If I write void, means I'm saying this method is not returning anything, null. So he is saying cannot convert void to null. Basically he is saying you told this method not to return anything, and how can you store the output into a p? It's not returning anything. See, when I call this method, it is executing. Guys, my voice is echoing. Can you please mute? Hello? Yeah, now it's fine. When I call the multiplication method or any method, or here when I call the sum method, or here when I call the add method, it's going to the add method, it's executing. So this main method don't know what is the output, what it is doing and all. He is not aware. Like I told you, okay, can you, I give you two numbers, 10, 20. Okay, can you add it? So you are adding it. I don't know what is the output. You add it and you print it. I don't know. Maybe in the output console you can see, but I don't know. Now I told you, give me the return, give me that value. Whatever the, after adding, whatever the value is, you please give it to me. Main method. Now for that, when, so if you give me, I need to store it inside some variable, right? Otherwise how I will take it? If I'm trying to store, he is saying no, this is a void method, he is not returning anything. How can you store inside integer? So I have to tell this method, boss, please you give me something, return me the value. So that time you should not declare it void. What you need to declare? You need to declare what this method is returning, what data type, what it is returning, integer. So you write integer. Okay. If I write integer, it's giving me some error. Add return statement he is saying. Basically, when you tell any method to return anything, you have to tell him what he need to return. See, he can return x, he can return y, he can return x plus y, or he can return m, he can return x into y. So you have to write small letter return. Return space. Now what he need to return, you have to write. So return m. Now see, x into y will come into m. M means when I call this method, means this method is returning m. Means this output will be x into y. It will store into p. Now I am writing p plus 100. Can you see? 114. Here system.out.println multiplication 10, 5. So I am directly printing it now. 10 will come into x, 5 will come into y, 10 into 5, 50. So 50 I am printing here. Because this method is returning, right? Returning what? M. So it will come into the output. This time I am not storing into any variable. Here I am storing into inside p. Here I am directly print. So I did it purposely. Let me print it. Add maybe 4, 7. I am getting an error message. What is the error? See, the method boolean of type print is not applicable for the argument void. He's saying these all are void method. So how can you print it? It's not returning anything. What I am going to print? I cannot print anything. That's what basically he is trying to say. Tell me. That is the different way. What you are saying. Okay. Then you are passing this and you are returning it, and you have to see what you are doing. It might override also that value.
Abhishek,
Okay,
I didn't understand that.
No, that is a different concept. What she is saying, if I declare m as a global variable and try to store the values and all.
No. In this, my query is, you have given the system.out.println multiply 10 comma 5, right? No,
Yeah.
the next method. I didn't understand that.
Okay.
See,
So
I could
this one you
understand. See,
understood, right? If you want the
this.
multiplication to return you something, you have to write what this is going to return and what is the data type. These two you have to use
Okay.
together. If you use
Okay,
void
fine.
and return m, you will get an error.
Error.
Correct?
Okay.
He's saying this is a void method. How can you return? So if you write return, if you don't write the return type, you will get an error. You are saying this method is returning integer, but you have not mentioned what you are returning. So both you have to
Okay.
use together. That is the first thing. Now, second thing, if this method is returning something, if you want, you can store it inside some variable and later you can use it.
Okay.
Second, I am saying, since this method is returning something, if I directly print, it will print the return value.
So there
When I
is no
print
m concept over here. So m is not required over here. So if we give multiply of 10 comma 5, it does 50. That's it. So we don't want to call this
it
function
does
directly.
50.
But
No, it does 50 and it's returning m. What is m value? M value is nothing but 50, right? So 50 is coming here.
But we're not storing into any variable. Just we are
That is the only
printing.
difference. We are not storing.
Okay.
Basically, when you declare some method as a return type, when you call this method, it's coming here also. 14.
Correct.
Here 14 I am storing into P. If you want, you don't want to store it also. You can directly use it. It's up to you. You want to store it inside some variable or you can directly use this method.
Okay.
Like I can use directly your name Shashikala and I can use it, or I can store it inside some string X and I can use X also, right? So here also the same thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood.
If I
Yeah.
write here, I cannot write m. No, I cannot write m because m is in the local variable. It will not be accessible. If I write, x, see, a method cannot return two value at a particular point of time. You cannot do it. A method can return only one value. Because if you write return m, return x, which one he is going to take? So he told, so that's the thing is a method can return only one value at particular point of time. If I commented out this one is fine. I don't know what he is doing, but I am just returning x. So x is what? In first case, x is 2. So p value will be 2, 2 plus 100. In second case, x is 10. So it will print 10. Can you see? Basically, I am saying you can return anything. You can return only x. I can return only y. Return, you can directly do it here also, x plus y. But any one value a method can return, not multiple values. That's what I am trying to say. Sorry, semicolon. Or if you want, you can give a bracket also. If you don't give also, it's fine. You can give also. So a method can return only one value at particular point of time. Remember, they will ask you. Okay, they will not ask you directly. Like I also don't ask directly. I told this is a method. I want him to return the value of x and y. So I can use x and y separately in my main method. Can you write the logic? No, you can say no. A method cannot return two values. Okay, a method can return only one value at particular point of time. Okay, clear? So what we are going to do tomorrow? We are going to continue some more thing and we will show you how to use if else statement and other things inside a method, how to return different parameters and all, and we will talk about it. Yeah, tell me. Because I am returning x. Whatever I am passing, first I am passing 2, second case I am passing 10. So here it is returning 2, here it is returning 10. Basically, there is no point of returning only x or only 2. I just wanted to show you. Here I am calling 10 comma 5 means what is the value of x? X value is 10. So here it is returning 10. If you are return y, it will return 5 here. If you return x plus y, it will return 15 here. If you return x into y, here instead of directly storing inside some variable and all, you can directly do it x into y return. So it will return 50. Okay. So this is the different way you can declare the return type. Clear everyone till now? Any question? You can ask me. Mayuri, are you there? Not Maruthi, sorry.
Abhishek, I have a doubt over here. See,
Yeah.
when you told it to
Yeah,
return x and y,
Yeah, are you able to follow Maruti?
yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, Shashikala, tell me.
see, can you please uncomment the return x? I just want to know.
Sorry, my voice is echoing. What do you want me to uncomment?
Return x. So my
This is
understanding here is uncomment return x.
yeah, I have it. Okay.
Okay.
I have to
So
comment
here, how
this.
do I understand? Yeah, fine. See, now our understanding is when I call this particular method over here, in my multiply 2,7, my main method, it will anyway do the multiplication of 2 into 7, that is 14, which gets
Yes.
stored in P. Okay. Now the next line system dot out of println, P is nothing but 14 plus 100. That is what it will print. But what is the use of me returning x? Where is x taken into consideration?
There is no use of it. I am saying you can return anything. Like I told you, Ki Shashikala, you know how to do the addition. I don't know. I gave you two number 10, 20. You add it and return me the output. Now you add it and you return me only 10. I don't know how to do the addition. So you have to return me correctly. Got it? If you return me wrong thing, I will be with that only. I cannot do anything. So my programming will be wrong. That is your responsibility. That is method's responsibility to return the correct thing.
Okay. So now in this case, if I do a return m, see if my code has only return m, right? In that case, it is going to return me the value of 14, correct?
Yes.
And this 14 I can use in my
Main program, and you can use it anywhere. Whatever you want, you can do.
So what you're doing is that return 14, you're now moving to P, and that P you're doing it for another calculation, another operations,
Another
correct? Right?
calculation basically. Basically, for example, you want to square it P into P.
Okay.
Okay, this is or you want to simply print it in the main method. You want to do some operation. Basically, I wanted to say output I need to use it in my main program. How to use it? That method should return me something.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So we'll talk about some more things in our next class about method tomorrow, and we'll see some other things about method, and we'll talk about the other things. Okay.
You'll be sending us